If I could give young women one piece of advice, it is to listen to older women. Men like to convince us that older women, they just don't know anything. They're jaded, they're this, they're that. No. Older women know. They know. They have lived. They have experiences. The reason that men don't like to deal with older women is because older women have that experience. They're no longer naive. They're no longer young and trusting. Not just going to hang on to every word that you say. They're actually going to hold you to your word. So if you want to take advice from anyone, take advice from an older woman. An older woman has lived. She has been in your shoes. You're asking your friends, no offense. I love my friends. I know you love your friends, but what do your friends know? This is the blind leading the blind. Go and take advice from older women if you want to get somewhere in life. It could even be someone that's like 4 or 5 years older than you. She's at least a little bit ahead of you in life to where she knows things you don't. I'm not saying you can't learn from people that are your age or that you're even younger than you. You absolutely can. But there are some things that are priceless. Experience is one of them. Experience, having the knowledge on how to handle things. Why would you sit around and make your own mistakes? Why would you do that? And don't tell me, oh my God, but you learn from your mistakes. Some people get traumatized from their mistakes with irreparable damage to their lives because of their mistakes. Why would you put yourself in that position? Learn from older women. They have a wealth of knowledge to give us and to offer us.
Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Miss Kafue. So in this video, we are getting to hear golden advice from older women. When I tell you these women are spitting gems, they are spitting gems. So I was even taking notes, literally. So I suggest you watch this video till the end because you don't want to miss this. So without wasting anyone's time, let's jump into the video and then I'll be back to give my take on this video. As always, you know how we do it over here, right?
Hey, it's Mel. I'm 55 years old, and these are 13 things that I wish I knew when I was in my 20s. Number one, the idea that your 20s is going to be the best time of your life, complete and utter bullshit. In fact, your 20s might be the hardest decade of your life, but listen to me. You're not broken, you're not a loser, and you are going to figure it out. Number two, stop spending your money on stupid shit. Seriously, listen to me. Spending money that you do not have on things that you do not need, it does not make you feel powerful. It makes you feel powerless. Number three, you have so much time. You have so much time to meet the love of your life, to make 6 figures, to figure out your career, to start a family. Slow down. Your time is precious and you have plenty of it. Number four, date the person, not the potential. I want you to ask yourself, are you truly dating the person as they are? Or are you dating them kind of wishing they were someone else? The fact is, no one changes unless they want to. So date the person, not their potential. Number five, life isn't fair. And wishing that it was, it's not going to change anything. So stop comparing yourself to other people because you can either throw yourself a pity party or you can trust where your life is leading you. Number six, in your 20s, count your wins, not by the quantity of your paycheck, but by the quality of your circle. Every single time you make a quality connection, count that as the best damn bonus you could earn. Number seven, don't be a dick. Pretty self-explanatory. Number eight, you don't get to want it unless you've got the balls to ask for it. Stop pretending that other people can read your mind. They can't. If you want something, ask for it. Number nine, create a rock solid morning routine because it is the fastest way to take back control in your 20s. Number 10, get serious about who you're hanging out with. In your 20s, you get to choose who you spend time with. So spend time with people who lift you up, who share the same goals, who are supporting you and taking big risks. You know who these people are. Prioritize spending time with them. Number 11, be your own person. Stop doing things that you don't want to do. Stop saying you like things that you don't. Nobody likes a people pleaser, neither do you, so be your own person. Number 12, you're not in competition with anyone else. It's only you against you. There's enough love, enough money, enough success, enough friendship, enough everything for every single human being on the planet. Stop mistaking everybody else's wins as your loss. You're not in competition with anybody. And finally, number 13, when you are in your 20s, take the biggest risks of your life. It is the perfect time for you to move, to try a different career, to go back to school, to take that trip. Mix things up. Because if you don't do it now during the perfect time of your life, you will live for the rest of your life with regret over the fact that you didn't, just like I do. So those were the 13 things that I wish I knew in my 20s, things that would have saved me so much heartbreak. It would have kept me from making so many mistakes. But the fact is, you can only go so deep on advice when you're doing a makeup tutorial. And so here's what I did. I created an entire podcast episode just for you. Because the fact is, yeah, your 20s can be really, really hard and very challenging. But they can also be one of the best decades of your life.
Hey mom, 7 tips to self-love.
Only by practicing. Number 1, start every day looking at the mirror and saying out loud, I love you. I am proud of you. You are beautiful or handsome. Number 2, accept your past and forgive yourself and people who hurt you. Number 3, write down your every achievement, even a small one, and read it at least once a day. Number 4, every time you want to think negatively about yourself, change it to an opposite positive thought. Number 5, every day do one thing for yourself which really brings you joy and happiness. Number 6, praise your every small achievement. Number 7, say no to people or actions if you feel so.
Thank you.
I've been seeing this trend on the Clock app and I gotta tap in. So here's 3 pieces of advice for 30-year-olds from a 40-year-old. Well, technically 41. 1, choose yourself. Let me tell you something. As girls, we are taught to put everybody and their mama before us, and that becomes a really sick cycle of denying yourself, repressing yourself, and betraying yourself over time. I have a mentor who says, choosing yourself is choosing God. So choose God by choosing yourself. Now, family, church, and society did not make that easy for you, so I understand it's going to take some practical tools and tips to actually get that going. So here's number 2. Heal your codependency. When people hear codependency, they tend to think, oh, it's, you're super clingy or you get attached easily, or no, codependency expresses itself in trying to control others. It expresses itself in trying to rescue others. It expresses itself in you jumping in when people didn't even ask for your help. And next thing you know, you help them. They're in a better position. You're worse off and they don't even say thank you. So now you resent them for it, but they never asked you for help in the first place. Whose block am I on? And so it's important to understand, 1, what codependency is, and 2, to honor that we have all been conditioned to be codependent, whether it's family, church, society. They're the unholy trinity as far as I'm concerned. The third piece of advice is to decolonize your faith, your religion, your spirituality, your spiritual practices. Chances are, if you grew up in this country, especially if you're Black, you have some encounter with the Christian church. Decolonize your Christianity, babes. The way that colonized Christianity has ransacked women's self-esteem, our sense of self-worth. The fact of the matter is, you are created in the image and likeness of God, and God rejoices over you with singing, and doesn't just rejoice over your servitude parts or your self-denial, but over your pleasure, over your body, all of your body. So yeah, beloved ones, those are my 3 pieces of advice. Above all else, love yourself. So trust me, there's plenty more where that came from. So if you want to hear more tips, more advice from a 41-year-old for 30-somethings, like and follow for more.
Some hard truths from a 53-year-old. People who are not treating you well are not going to treat you any better if you work harder. There is never, ever a perfect time to do the thing that you want to do, because we are not going to live forever. Your body is definitely going to repay you for how you treat it when you're young. Please stop hiding your age, because we're all really lucky to be getting older. Nothing is as important as any of us are making it, so stop making big issues over small things. When you have conflict with someone, 9 times out of 10, that person's already told you who they are. People you're surrounding yourself with will always impact how you're showing up in the world.
turning 60 this year, and let me give you 3 of the most important things that you should know by the time that you get to my age. Number 1, you're always going to have a dark night of the soul. You always will, at some point in your life. Number 2, they're always going to judge and criticize. They will all, hear me well on this. If you're doing something right, they will always judge and criticize you. So, ignore. And number 3, find balance. Find balance. Look, there's a lot of things that on here, on most social media, through my blogs, through our company, I talk about health. I talk about, sometimes people might think that, maybe I'm too extreme or maybe I'm not extreme enough. You get it. My point is you get it on both ends. I have been told that I'm too extreme by people who don't want to do health at all. And then I have been told that I'm not extreme enough by people who are on the other side of being too extreme. Find your balance. Find your balance. I'll give you for instance, I talk about health. I try really hard not to ingest a lot of toxins and chemicals, but I highlight my hair. I do. Every 4 or 5 months, I have them highlight my hair. I don't put dye on my scalp. That's my way of finding balance. The whole point of my telling you that is just find your balance. Do the best that you can. Look, I'm turning 60 this year, and when I was thinking about all the things that I've learned and all the things that I've gone through, by the time you're 60, you're going to go through so many things. Don't have any regrets. View your life, view the things that you've done as either a win or a lesson. You've either won or you've learned. Let everything else go. There's no failures. There's no bad stuff. You've either won or you've learned. Love you all.
Advice my grandma gave me about men and relationships. Number 1, never marry a man as pretty as you. He has to feel like he's marrying up, so he feels lucky to have you. When you walk into a room, it's not him that people are looking at, it's you that they're looking at. Never feels fully secure that you're going to stick around, afraid that you could leave him at any moment. Number 2, don't at me, okay? Grandma, may she rest in peace. Her second piece of advice was always marry a man whose parents are dead. Oh my God. That way there's no in-law bullshit to deal with. Number 3, always know that you are expendable and replaceable. Nanima, that's cold. She said to me, Shabnam, she was like, don't be that girl. Always know that it could happen to you. Don't be that girl that's like, my husband would never. No, anybody's husband is capable of anything. This ties into number 4. Love them, but never forget how to live without them. You gotta have a job. Get an education, get a good job, and have your own bank account. And number 5, love is for the birds. Never marry for love. There's no such thing as soulmates. Does he have a good job? Does he have a good education? Is he nice? Boom, done. When's the wedding? My grandma was born in 1910 in East Africa. She'd seen a lot of shit by the time she passed away. I know my grandma gave me this advice coming from a place of love because she just wanted me to have a better life than her. May she rest in peace. Miss you, Nanima.
What advice would you give to women in their 30s about what life has to bring? What would you say to a woman in her 30s? If you could talk to yourself as a woman in your 30s, what would you have told yourself?
Well, it depends whether they're married or not married.
Well, let's say they're not married.
They're not married. Then I would say, to be very careful who they're going to get associated with. And not to mix love with sex.
Oh, what does that mean?
Because sex is not love, even though the English call it making love. I mean, you can't make love. Love exists or it doesn't. And to have sex is not love.
Now, there's some wise words. Yeah.
It's not. Sex is an act to procreate. And every time you have sex, you're actually inviting a soul to come to earth and to become a human being.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what sex is for.
Well, it's kind of for enjoyment as well, though. Like, it's fun to do it if you've got a good partner.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be just a fun thing.
Yeah, but
and this is the biggest thing why marriages break down, because people think that sex is love, and they usually say, let's make love. You can't make love. Love exists or it doesn't. And if love exists, then you can have sex, and then it means something. But if you just do it for fun, it's not love.
Well, then you have fun.
The saying "let's make love" is so wrong, because you can't make love.
That's true. Yep. Okay, that's fair. Cool. But sex is fun. No, but it's fun. Like, it's nice to have fun.
Yes, but
while you're falling in love.
If you didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And just remember Grandma Moses. She was a painter. And she didn't start painting until, I think, in her 80s. And one of the most prolific painters.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Never
so
too
have
late.
fun. That's what it's all about.
One of the greatest DMs that I got asking me, what advice would I give to my 26-year-old self? I honestly would tell her, stop rushing to get married, stop rushing to settle down, stop rushing for the future, stop rushing for kids, stop rushing to be at the end. I would say have more fun, travel, make your own money, learn how to take care of yourself first, before settling down, before having kids. Know who you are, know what you like, experience life, experience people. Travel. Money best spent is traveling. I'd say have as much fun with your girlfriends as you possibly can. Stop worrying about everything. You have time. Enjoy it. Enjoy each day. And remember that at the end, a little piece of advice from a 51-year-old to her 26-year-old self, life is long. Learn how to be content with what you have and work every single day at being the best version of yourself and finding you're happy. That the greatest form of success will be looking in the mirror and actually liking the person and the life you're living.
Let's talk about self-care for high-achieving women. And what does that even really mean? It's not the same kind of self-care that you think. This is important for you to shift and not go into what I call feminine burnout. For context, my name is Ekene Onu, and I'm an executive coach. I have been an executive life coach to many high-achieving women across the diaspora for quite some time. And I myself am what is called a femme du certain a woman of a certain age. And now that I'm getting a little gray and I'm getting a little older, I certainly have become wiser. And I want to share some things with you that are peculiar to women who are driven, ambitious, and want to make things happen. I really do work with women who are like that, who want to live purpose-driven lives, who want to make things happen, who want to be leaders, but who do not want to sacrifice their femininity and their womanhood. I happen to believe that the two don't have to be mutually exclusive, that you can be successful, you can be a leader, and you can be soft and feminine all at the same time. I have helped my clients do it. I run a business and I have learned how to do it, and I enjoy my life. You can live a beautiful life without being stressed, but you have to understand some of the strategies. So today I want to share with you a few things to think about, because if you are a woman who's making things happen, you cannot just have average self-care. Average self-care is for women who are living average lives. But if you are really pouring it all out, then you have to be more intentional, because when you pour it all out, you tend to have a kind of burnout that is different from the regular burnout. We talk about burnout, and when we talk about burnout, we're typically talking about when you get to the point when you're kind of apathetic, you're tired, your productivity and your performance drops. But what I experience with a lot of women who are high achieving is none of that changes. They're high performing, they're making things happen, but this changes. The quality of their womanhood changes. They lose their radiance. They lose their joy, their joie de vivre. They are, they're not as turned on in life in general. We don't want that to happen. And so I really want you to lean in. If you are a woman who's about something and you want to be a woman who's about something, lean in, because you're going to need these kinds of self-care practices. And these are things that I have taught my clients. These are things that I teach in my programs. I have an upcoming Love, Wealth, and Womanhood Mastery program that we're going to be launching as a 10-week intensive. So if you're interested, send me a DM. I'll tell you more about it. But we're going to be taking women who want to go to that next level and really embody the woman that they want to be. But let me tell you the self-care strategies for women who are high octane and making things happen. Number one, I don't know if you're like me, but when I grew up, and I didn't grow up in America, I was born here, but I didn't grow up in America. I grew up in Nigeria and in a certain type of way, because just because you grow up in a country doesn't mean everyone grows up the same way. People that were from my sort of socioeconomic class, there were certain things that we did, right, that were just normal. And so I used to go to school and have uniforms, right? And so when you come home, it was a normal thing to put on your home clothes. And I remember my mother and the mothers that I know, they would do the same thing. They would go to work, and they would go to work in these nice, beautiful, well-tailored suits, and they would come back and put on their home clothes. And my mother had so many robes. And, we've gotten away from that now. We don't have that anymore. And my mom would have so many robes. And when she would come home, it was a way she shifted. And it was a way, I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now and I teach it now. Having that in your mind, home clothes, and your home clothes are not where your good clothes go to die, by the way. Your home clothes are the clothes that allow you, because you're teaching your body that then communicates to your mind and your whole essence, that your whole energy rather, that you are now shifting into the feminine. And so I decided to film this in my home clothes. And I work from home, but I do dress up sometimes. I have my home clothes. I have the robe on, right? I have my velvet, headgear. That is a kind of self-care. Why? Because it actually communicates to your body that you're turning off the work piece, right? You're moving in a more softer, more languid way. You're stepping into your feminine. So that's a very important aspect of self-care. The second aspect of self-care that I'd like you to consider, especially if you're a high-powered woman, is not neglecting beauty around you. Often we think self-care has to be like, I'm leaving my house, I'm going to the spa. All of that is fantastic, but make your house like a spa. Like, don't neglect those things. Don't, like, I get flowers, whether someone sends me flowers or I buy flowers, I make myself an arrangement. I have flowers in my house constantly. It is a gift that I have to myself, and I realize how much it adds to me. So don't neglect that. Those little pieces, like, how often do you hear music that soothes you, that turns you on in your own home? And I don't mean turn on sexually, I mean just makes you feel alive, right? How often do you do that? How often do you have food that excites you? Like, oh, this is good. Like, you want to be turned on by your senses, so that's an important part of self-care. If you don't want to become one of those women who is all about work and life, there's no play. All work and no play makes Jack and Jill a dull girl, right? So you want to make sure that you have things that bring you pleasure regularly in your life. That is going to really add value to you. I don't care where you are on your journey, but especially if you are someone that's considered high powered, you want to make sure that you're very, very intentional about that. And then finally, slowing down. I think that if you have a lot of days that are boom, 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 you should have a few days in the week. And most women don't, because the weekends become filled with chores. But you should have at least one day that you're having a slower day, a more languid day. You're more still. You're more at ease, right? Because then you find you can get into your body more. If you every single day is go, 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 you are going to burn out, and you're going to burn out the parts of you that are the most delicious parts of you. So without saying any more, I just hope that this has inspired you to be more intentional about some peculiar kinds of self-care that feminine women who are about something, making things happen, feminine leaders, what they need. God bless you. Be well.
Hard truths from a 53-year-old. Obsessing over other people's lives and comparing it to your own actually requires you to abandon your own life, so mind your own business. You're probably apologizing too much for things that you shouldn't be sorry for. There's probably somebody out there who's more successful than you, but less talented because they got out of their own way. If you don't learn to direct the course of your life, other people will direct it for you. Stop turning people's red flags into pink ones, especially when it comes to dating. Setting boundaries is a form of love for yourself and for other people. You don't have to share everything with everyone all the time.
What advice would you give your younger self?
To never marry. To never marry. I think that I could have done all the things that I have done without a man. When my 2 husbands and my father all died within 3 months. And I found myself Betty, because I was no longer Betty Charbonnet, no longer Betty Reed. I was no longer defined by someone else's name.
I just want to open up space for you to say anything to the audience or to the camera, anything on your mind.
The important thing is never.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't worry yourself about things that might never happen.
And what makes you say that?
Because I spent my whole life doing it. Don't be so afraid.
To not take life so seriously when I was younger. I worried too much. Everything's going to be okay.
Have more confidence. And it's because I didn't that I didn't risk things, and that's what you've got to do in life. You just risk everything, and there is no point living a life if you don't try things.
Such a waste of time to be insecure. As an older person, you can look back and say, oh my God, I was fantastic. Oh my God, I was so pretty. Now I'm, 50 pounds heavier and wrinkles and all that, and and you realize, oh, it was such a waste to have those doubts.
I settled down too young, and now I'm living my life. I'm nearly 50 and I'm ticking every box off my list. This is me now. I'm not a mum. I'm not a worker. I'm being true to myself. That's what you're born to be.
Yeah.
Be you. Be whoever you want to be. I'm going for a pint.
So many people ask me about how to love yourself. How do you love yourself, Louise? Because I talk about it all the time. So I made a list of how to love yourself. And it's even in poster and postcard form now. But number 1 on that list of how to love yourself is to stop all criticism. Just stop it, now and forevermore. And make a vow to yourself that you're going to do your very best from now on to stop criticizing, number 1, you, and then other people. It'll be a lot easier to stop criticizing other people when you stop criticizing yourself. Now, number 2 on that list is stop scaring yourself. And here we go into fear. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Sometimes it's an old family pattern. Sometimes we get new things. How many people here are absolutely in terror of earthquakes? And how often do you do that to yourself? We find so many ways to scare ourselves. I would like people, when you have time, to make a list of your fears. Make a list of your fears. And then give yourself the opportunity to turn each fear into a positive affirmation. Turn each one into something positive. And remember, always you are in charge. You are always in charge. See, one idle thought doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's like but thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water on the table here. And it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping and keep dropping, you get, the table becomes a wash, and then you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of marvelous positive thoughts. You can make changes, always. So you want to turn those fear thoughts into positive affirmations. Let them work for you.
I probably spent 3/4 of my life worrying about what other people thought. Whatever people thought about me, what other people thought about my marriage, what other people thought about my circumstances, how I dressed, you know, whatever people thought about anything. I was so concerned about my public image and what people thought, and even my private image. Don't worry about what other people think. And then when I went through menopause, I gained 20 pounds or maybe 30 pounds, and I thought, oh gee, people will think I'm fat, you know. Who cares? Let it go. And when you're young, that is so hard because you really don't know who you are yet, and you don't usually have the mature self-confidence to be strong enough to believe that you are unique and you are special. But don't worry what other people think. Be unique, be memorable, be confident, be proud, but mainly be you.
How old are you?
I am 50.
Is this your kid?
This is my grandson.
That is wild. What's your secret for looking so great at 50?
Being happy, first of all. Sun protection, moisturizers, a little Botox.
What's the reason you say happiness is so important?
Well, I mean, studies show that happy people live longer. Married people live longer, so get married. People that are married have more sex, so they're definitely happier. It's true, studies show that. And monogamous people are happier than people that play around.
What's the reason you think monogamous people are happier than people that play around?
Well, I think we all appreciate commitment and safety. Raising children, having grandchildren, you need that safety, especially for a woman. When you have that partner that loves you and will be there for you no matter what, you're happier.
It brings that security.
Yeah. 100%.
What advice would you give to the younger version of yourself?
Stop giving a crap about everything. Just relax. Enjoy life a little bit more. Don't ever be afraid of doing something. Do it. And then even if it's a mistake, you learn from it.
I feel fear and I do it anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen up. You'll never really feel alone if you love who you're alone with.
We were married on my birthday when I was 23, and unfortunately at the time he said, well, we'll make it on your birthday so I'll never forget. And then he died of Alzheimer's, and of course he did forget.
How long were you married for?
We made 50, but he wasn't really aware that it was 50.
What's some advice that you could give to people about
Just pick your best friend. Don't worry about how tall, short, whatever. And he was a great father and a great husband.
First impressions aren't based on looks, they're based on confidence. The minute you see jealousy in a friend, get rid of them. Less is more when it comes to makeup. Starving yourself just leads you to overeat later. Don't let someone isolate you and become the only person in your life. Stop asking everyone else their opinions. Find someone you respect and can always laugh with. Stop bragging that you don't sleep. It's not cool. Being clutter-free in life gives you so much clarity you won't be owned by your possessions. Don't dismiss the little things in your relationships that bother you because they probably won't change. Don't forget to leave things that aren't serving you. You've got to make space for that other opportunity. Sometimes it's okay to treat yourself to something new. Who are the 5 people you're around the most? Those are the people who are going to inspire your habits. Dogs are always better than anything.
Hey y'all, okay, I was at this speaking engagement the other day, and something that I shared with the audience, everybody just really loved it. So I wanted to share it with you. My grandmother shared it with me. It's just a principle I live my life by, and it is this: people are either radiators or they're drains. And you need to spend time around the radiators, the people who radiate goodness and light and positivity, not the drains, the people who drag you down. And I think everybody in the audience knew what I meant, and I think you do too. Also, don't you want to be someone in people's lives that radiates goodness and positivity and creativity and opportunity and optimism and humor, and not a drain? Okay, be somebody's radiator today.
If you miss your ex-boyfriend, forget it. You gotta start living for yourself. You don't need that. You could be independent. You'll find somebody else. You'll be okay. Don't ever go back again. Thank you.
Look at yourself in the mirror, wash your face, put your makeup on, put your clothes on, and then say, what must I do next? I must have a little breakfast, or I must have a cup of tea. And then I will start to do this little thing that needs doing. You're not going to worry about anything else but that at that moment. And then when you've done that, you think, I'm dressed, I've got some makeup on, I've done that task, it's taken me 2 hours or 3 hours. I need a cup of tea in the cafe, in the gallery. I'll go there and have it. That's my reward. And I deserve it. I deserve it. Because I've done those things. And you can take pride in the fact you've done them. Never mind about what else has happened years ago, what's going to happen in the future.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Have more sex.
So why'd you say that?
When you get old, like I am, on your deathbed, you're not going to be regretting having too much sex.
Yeah.
You're more likely to be regretting not having enough.
If you're like me, I'm sure by now you've taken notes. You've literally learned a lot from this video. So I'm just going to share some of the most intriguing things that I've heard from this video, in case maybe you missed some of them, or maybe you can resonate with what I'll say. So I really support the fact that your 20s is going to be necessarily the best years of your life. Like, I don't know why society makes us believe that when you're young is when you should enjoy life. When you're old, now you can't enjoy life. No, you never know when the best days of your life will be. You just have to put in the right attitude, the right mentality, and really put effort into it. And you have so much time. Stop pressurizing yourself. And another thing I've really heard from these videos of old people and older women is that live in the moment. Don't live in that moment whereby I can't wait for this and this. Like, you'll be missing out on living in the moment. Enjoy the now. I don't care how bad it is. Enjoy those little experiences, because there's a day you won't have the same experience anymore. Like, next year won't be this year. You won't have the same experiences anymore. Maybe you won't be in that house in the next 2 years or so. Or maybe you won't be in the same city. Like, enjoy where you are now, because life is a journey. Like, you don't know where it will take you in the next couple of years. And another thing that sounds cliche but really hit for me when she said it is that date the person, not the potential. A lot of us women tend to fall in love with the potential of a man and not the actual man. And if you know, you know. And life isn't fair. You really have to fight for your place in it. Life isn't fair at all. Life is so unfair. And the quality of your life really supersedes the money you're making. Like, if you're really living an unhealthy life, you're in these toxic relationships, you're taking this and these drugs, you're not working out, you're not eating right, like, you're not doing any 2 of the things or 3 of the things I mentioned on that list, like, your face will show, like, your body will react to it, like, you'll live a miserable life, like, you'll be very regretful. But if you've done those things and decided to change, decided to, like, no, this is not for me anymore, I want better for myself, kudos for you, because not many people make it out of that, by the way. You should be your only competition. Stop competing with other people. Like, no one can be you, so stop competing. The only competition you should have is within yourself. And I think that's very secure to say. Like if you reach that place, it means you're really secure about yourself. And there's enough for everyone, so why should we fight? If we want like a billion content creators, we can all be content creators. After all, the world has 8 billion people by now. So like there's space for everyone. And we're all different, and that's the beauty of it. So different people in different fields. Something else I really learned is that take the biggest risks when you're still young, especially when you're in your 20s. Another thing I've learned from this video is that you need to take the biggest risks when you're young, especially when you're in your 20s, like you have no major responsibilities. That's the time you take the risk. Like that's the time you take risks. Whatever a risk looks like to you. For me, maybe it's quitting your job, traveling to another city, another country, or another continent. Like those are major risks for me. But I don't know what taking a bigger risk for you looks like, but take it. Like whatever like stimulates your passion, whatever like makes you feel alive, do that thing. And when taking the risk, you'll realize that everything is either a win or a lesson. If it's a lesson, take the lessons with you. Maybe you'll need it in future. If it's a win, then good for you. Enjoy it and maintain it. So don't tend to over worry that, oh, I'm not doing this and this. Like life is a journey. You don't know when your best years will be. Something else that really left me intrigued is that sex is not love and love is not sex. And don't marry for love. By the way, marriage is for children. If you don't know, marriage is not for you both to enjoy. Marriage is only meant to protect the children legally. Like that's the most important goal for marriage. Like if you didn't know. And don't waste your time doubting yourself. You see how women were like, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too big. Like, you remember how, like, you can look at a throwback picture and wonder, why did I always think I was fat? Why did I always think I was that big? Well, I wasn't that big like I am now. Like, what was wrong with me? Like, and right now, the way you're doubting yourself, you look back in 10 years and you'll be like, why was I doubting myself? Like, you'll soon realize you've missed out on your life. Like, you've missed out enjoying your life. So enjoy the now. Embrace yourself in all situations. Embrace yourself in all sizes. Like, even if you're down there, even if you're not doing good in life, embrace yourself then. When you're doing good, also embrace yourself. When you're fat, embrace yourself. When you're thin, when things are not going well for you, just embrace yourself. Learn to love yourself in all situations. It's very important. And learn to take care of you first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I don't know how much we underestimate the power of this statement, but it's very true. If you don't know how to take care of yourself, if you don't know how to love yourself, you can never love other people. You can never take care of other people. Like you can never, yeah, like it can never get there. And something else I didn't know exists is feminine burnout. Like if you're a high vibrational woman, if you're this woman who like goes beyond, like you stretch yourself so thin to like you really do the work, you know what I mean? Then you really have to have a high level of self-care because you're really like using a lot of energy to do these things. So you really have to pour into yourself a lot and really more than the average woman. Like that's really something that stuck with me. Like you don't need average self-care if you're a really high achieving, high vibrational woman. Like you really have to like go deep into your self-care. You really have to be in tune with yourself. You really have to go all out for yourself in terms of self-care. So, and don't neglect the beauty around you. Many a times we are caught up in our heads, we are caught up with social media. You ignore the serene environment even around you. You ignore the beauty of your kids smiling, of your kids growing. You ignore the beauty of a warm home, the beauty of a hot meal, the beauty of a good song, the beauty of being able to just chill and feel at peace, the beauty of just enjoying something. Like, we really underestimate life, and that's the beauty of life. These simple things that we tend to like think are just normal. Like, that's the beauty of life. Like, slow down. Like, don't go all out. Like, it's important to slow down. Have days or weeks whereby you just slow down, because you'll come crashing. Like, just imagine if you're a car and you're speeding and there's no point at which you're slowing down. You'll hit something on your way at the end and you'll crash. So that's how you tend to see people burning out, people just being admitted into hospital just like that, because you never slowed down. You never took time to like really care for yourself, because at the end of the day, these jobs don't care about you, by the way. You really have to learn. You really have to learn to put yourself first. These jobs don't care about you. You're just a number to them. If you're going today, tomorrow, they'll have a replacement. So put yourself first always, always, in any situation. Something else that really stuck with me was that mistakes are like drops of water. If you keep dropping water in a bucket, dropping drops, many drops of water, like making many mistakes, soon the basin will be full. Soon the house will be full of water. Soon it will be an ocean. Like, that really stuck with me. So whenever you make a mistake, don't repeat it. Like, whenever you notice this thing is not good for me, this thing costed me this and this, the consequences were far much too high for this and this thing. Like, try not to repeat it and get caught up in the same cycle again. And change starts from your thoughts. Like, you see, the life you crave, the person you want to be, it all starts from your thoughts. No wonder I keep saying in my videos, you have to have the right mentality. You have to be mentally on point to really like go up there. It all starts from your mind. Like, once you change the way you think, once you like visualize it in your thoughts, once you like really plan it well in your thoughts and really work towards it, like transfer those thoughts into practical things that you can do, like it all starts paying off. So don't underestimate the power of your thoughts. Your thoughts have the power to either ruin your life or build your life. So it's you to choose whether you'll be drowning in a sea of negativity or floating on the sea of life. It's you to choose. So work on the quality of your thoughts and really take care of what you like consume, even on the internet. Like, you can be poisoning your spirit, you can be poisoning your mind. Like, the eyes are a gateway to the soul. So whatever you like taking through your eyes, through like whatever you consume, just it's either it builds your soul or it poisons it. So really take care. Like, be woke spiritually also. That's something I'll add there. Don't be this type of ignorant women like, oh, I cannot learn that. Please be woke. Please be woke, because everyone around you is woke. And some people are really tapping into those types of energy to like get shit done, and like they're tapping into their highest potential spiritually. Like, it's all like life is spiritual. Life is spiritual at the end of the day. So be woke, open your eyes and open your ears. And the last thing that I learned from this video is that people are either radiators or drainers. So it's either you're surrounding yourself with people who are draining you or radiating your energy. It's you to choose the circle around you. And the people around you also determine, I think, the quality of life that you live. Because if you have people around you that are always discouraging you, that are always like beating you down, and you can also have people who are really encouraging you, who are really motivating you. Like, those two situations are very different. And the results you'll get from those two situations are also very different. So really assess the people you keep around. So this video was really good to me. I don't want to keep it long. I'm sure we watched the video. We've learned like different things that have stuck with us. Please comment down below what really stuck with you from this video, and I'll be happy to engage with you in the comments. So if you watched this far, you're a real one. You should be subscribed already. Please subscribe. The goal is 10,000 subscribers, and I'm really excited about it. Like, I can hardly believe we've come this far. Like, it's really good to watch. So please subscribe. Please share this video to whoever you know may need it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.